Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I'm going to be going through your guys' questions that you left me on Instagram and YouTube. But before we get started, if you are looking for a specific answer to a specific question, check the description below. I will leave the timestamp for all of the questions. But if you'd like to listen to all of the questions, just let the video play. Now I'm going to start off with the Instagram questions because I would like to push my Instagram. It is at shooting_cars. I post whenever I film a review on here. I post behind the scenes stuff that I'm working on, as well as updates on each video to come out. Also, if you'd like to see my videos early, the full-length videos, visit my Patreon. Link will be in the description below. But let's get on to the Instagram questions. First one comes from Fabi_RBL. Ever heard of Romania? If not, search on a video. Love your vids. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, thank you. I appreciate the love. But also, yes, I've heard of Romania. I had a friend go there for 8 weeks last summer, as well as I've sort of been in the area. I've been to Slovakia and Poland and Austria. So I'm familiar with Romania. Yonny Knowles says, review my turbo Civic after it's tuned? ? Yes. I've been meaning to ask you. I want to talk to you about that. I've never done a turbo Civic, and I've never done an EG hatch. So, definitely going to hit you up once it is tuned. Hit me up once it's tuned, and we will definitely find some time because that's really cool, and that's going to be a cool review. Steve013 asks, when should you scrap an NA Miata project? Most Miatas can come back from the grave as long as there's not too much rust. If rust is the issue, if you have no floor pans and your fenders are gone and some rails may be gone, it might be time. But other than that, everything else can be fixed if you're talking about like a blown engine or trans or something like that. Smokey McDabs253 asks, what's next to the RX-7? So I assume they're asking what's next for the RX-7, like plans for the RX-7. If they're asking what's next to it, in a picture I posted, it's a Mazda CX-5, if that's what you're referring to. But what's next for the RX-7? I actually just made a purchase on a new transmission, a stage 1 clutch, and an S5 intake a full S5 intake. I had an S5 intake, but I had never put it on the car because I didn't have the fuel rails and something else. But now I have a full S5 intake, Exetti stage 1 clutch, and transmission, so I'll be making a video about that probably soon. So it's going to get reversed finally. It's 12A trans. Electric fans, as you guys know, we have the Mishimoto electric fans we have to put on. Probably new seats, and that's it for now. I'm just going to kind of track the car this year. Hopefully, that's the plan, is to track the car. Asteen13, why are you so cute with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 heart eye emojis? Steen, moi. Steen actually got his REW into his FD, so he's making progress on that, which is absolutely awesome. Now let's head over to YouTube. Let's read your guys' comments. Mark asks, are you going to get the rust in the rear wheel well fixed? So if you guys don't know, my RX-7 does have rear wheel well rust. It is a decently rusty car now that it's been in the Midwest and accepted salt. Yes, I will fix the rust. My plan right now is actually to pick up another shell, transfer everything over to the new shell, fix Rose, the red one, completely fix all the rust, and then build a new motor for that. But that's the plan right now. As you guys know, the plan always changes, so that can't be held accountable. Fabi RBL asks, any tips, tricks for owning a rotary? I want to have an FC or RX-8, probably a Miata, and swap it later. So, I have a whole video about owning a rotary, things you should know. I will link to that somewhere. But really just premix, rev it out at least once a drive to redline, but let it warm up before you do that. That is huge. That's how I blew my engine, is I didn't let it warm up because I was a teenager. And just keep up with maintenance, really. Bic Boy says, opinion on Miata rotary swaps. I want to do one eventually, so love them. I think it's really cool. I don't even know if it's just a face for a username, but I know this dude has submitted his car and he's been a long-time viewer. When were you coming down to Florida? Would love to meet you someday when I finish my car. I would love to give you a ride. and then he has his Instagram name. I want to come down to Florida. I really do. I know that there's a lot of rotaries there, and someone actually offered me a 3-rotor Cosmo to review down in Florida. It's just all about money. As you guys know, I'm up in Chicago, so it's not the cheapest thing to go down to Florida, but that will be in the game plan at some point. If not this summer, then the next one, and if not that summer, the next one. That sort of thing. Maybe actually during the winter. Maybe that'd be a better winter trip. That's probably going to be more expensive. I don't know. But I would like to come down to Florida eventually, and I'll keep the channel posted when I'm going places, so if people want to meet up, show me their rotaries, we could definitely do that. Mark asks, do you still have any 12A parts you don't want? Yes, I have huge Rubbermaid containers full of parts in my garage. I need to sort through them. Maybe I'll make a video about that. I have so many parts. But also, I don't have nearly the amount of parts that some of my friends have. Low Spec YouTuber has a couple questions. 1, will you do a Turbo 2 swap on Rose? 2, 12A or Renesis 13B? 3, which other RX chassis would you buy other than a Canary Yellow SA? I don't know if this person knows me really well and I've said it in videos, or they took a wild guess, but I really do want a Canary Yellow SA real bad. So number 1, will you do a Turbo 2 swap on Rose? Probably not. The reason for that is because I want to do something more unique with Rose, something different. I'm leaning towards other forms of forced induction, which it's not that I won't ever Turbo 2 swap any car or own a Turbo 2 or Turbo 2 swap a different FB or SA. I really want to do an SA. But it's just I want Rose to be more unique, since Rose is kind of like the poster child of rotary life. 2, 12A or Renesis 13B? I would go 12A. And then which other RX chassis would you buy other than a Canary Yellow SA? I really want a 4-door or a wagon RX3. 4-door RX3. Lucia the Dino says, how often do you flush the coolant in Rose? Also, do you have some pointers for best, strongest jack points on the FB chassis? Thanks. Jack it up by the subframe or rear differential. That's what I found to be the best. And how often do you flush the coolant in Rose? I've never actually flushed the coolant because I've drained it so many different times to modify the cooling system. Like when we did the radiator, I did flush it once last season because it was only water and it was going to get cold. So I flushed it and actually put coolant into it. But I've changed so many parts, like the thermostat housing and water pump and all that stuff, that I've had to drain it anyway, and I put fresh coolant in it. So I don't really have a schedule, but just do it at least once a year, I would say, just to be safe. Sahel NS says, what car did you like after driving it? And I want to ask you to drive a 2006 Chrysler 300C 5.7 or 6.1. There's a lot of cars I liked after driving them. Immediately what comes to mind is like the Camaro ZL1 was really fun. That's a car that I stepped away from recently, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. But in terms of a 2006 Chrysler 300C, I would love to drive one of those because I'm pretty sure those are just Chargers with different bodies. I've never driven one. Do you think it would be a good idea to buy an RX-8 as my first car? Yes and no. I get this question a lot of, is a rotary a good idea for my first car? Is an RX-7 a good idea for my first car? And the answer is basically, if it's in good condition. It's like asking, is a banana a good idea for a snack? A greenish yellow or yellow banana is a great idea for a snack. You get a little bit of peanut butter on there, great snack. But if you're looking at a yellowish brown, or black banana, that's not a good idea for a snack. So as long as you get a good one, low mileage, well-kept maintenance, it'll be a good first car. If you buy one with 255,000 miles, it's never been premixed on its original engine, owned by a teenager, you're probably going to have a bad time. Ben M asks a couple questions. How much does it cost to premix? If you had to swap a piston engine into Rose, what would you put in? Would you be interested in reviewing a 2003 Nissan Xterra? And then a very long, I'll put it up here, this is a very long question. And he says, you don't have to answer, it's more of a joke, but I'm not sure what to answer for my biology class after typing this out. This is one of the more stupid things I've done, but I figured, hey, I already typed it, so I'm in too deep, I might as well just send it. And do you know the answer if you could help me? Maybe the reason I don't understand this is because I'm spending my study hall asking a YouTuber for the answer to my bio project. Thanks. So there's a lot in this one. So how much does it cost to premix? It's about $6 a bottle, and I could usually get about 3 tanks out of it. So let's just say $2 extra per fill-up. Not that much. If you had to swap a piston engine into Rose, what would you put into it? Probably a BP from a Mazda Miata, a 1.8 liter. Would you be interested in reviewing a Nissan Xterra in a few months, possibly. I did a 2001, I believe. So if it's different than that, yes. But if it's the same body style, same exact thing, I don't know what else I would say. That's my only hesitation. Otherwise, if I hadn't done a Nissan Xterra, I would jump on that. And then as for your biology question, I have no idea, but my girlfriend is studying that in college, so I will ask her. Next up is from Thomas. Will you be going to Tuner Galleria March 9th? I don't know. I've gone to Tuner Galleria in the past. It's not my favorite show. I think it's a little expensive to get in. If I do have time, I will try to attend to Tuner Galleria. But that being said, I want to host car meets and stuff this summer, so I will keep you guys updated on the events I am going to. So hopefully you guys can come out there. What do I need to convert my NAS5 FC to a Turbo 2 FC? So, the Turbo 2 13B and the S5 13B are two different engines. The naturally aspirated one, the one that you have, is a 6-port, so it has 6 ports into the engine, while the Turbo 2 has only 4 ports. So really what you would need is a Turbo 2 engine. You would need pretty much the whole engine. You can turbo the NA, but if it's not done right, it will blow up. If it is done right, it'll make way more power because it has higher compression. You would need a Turbo 2 engine and all the parts that come with it, obviously turbo manifold, turbo intake, intercooler, all that stuff. As well as the transmission is different. Has a stronger transmission. Kevin's time-wasting account asks, follow-up, can you still dab 300 times a minute? Yes. Would you like to see me do it again? Shabam asks, what's your first car and first modification? So my first car was actually a 1998 Dodge Ram 1500, and the first modification I did to it, I think I plastic the wheels. I put a push bar on the front, some KC lights. I did spark plugs, wires, real basic stuff. Nothing too crazy there. Matty Matt said, when will you play Forza Horizon 4 / live streams? I don't know if I'm going to pick up Forza Horizon 4. I feel like, 1, it's too late at this point, and 2, I told myself I would buy it if they ever put an FB into the game, and so far, still no FB. But live streams, maybe I'll do some more live streams later this year. I'd like to get back into that. Daily Driven asks, what is more interesting in your opinion, a turbo Miata or an individual throttle body Miata? This would be on a 1.6. More interesting? I've never seen an individual throttle body Miata. I know that they exist. I've never seen one in person and like gotten close to one and was able to look at one. So if I was at a car show and I saw a turbo Miata or a individual throttle body Miata, I would look at that one. But if you want power, obviously turbo. Inflow Divide, which I always see you commenting on my videos and I appreciate it. When can you drive your Mazda again? Hopefully soon. Hopefully this week. If not next week, because this week is actually my spring break. So hopefully I would like to drive it soon, but it all depends on weather. Moped Man asks, what are the crucial spots for rust on the FB chassis? Oh, do I know about this? Rear wheel wells. Real bad. The bins behind the seats on the FBs. SAs don't have these, but the FBs have bins behind the seats. Check those. Mine aren't great. Other than that, typical spots on a car, basically just the whole undercarriage if it's exposed to rust or exposed to salt. Colby asks, I bought a 1981 RX-7 GSL for my first car. Do you think this was a good decision? Going back to the previous banana analogy, if it's a good, well-kept car, yes. If it is a piece of crap, $400, barely running car, no. Should I get an FC or FD RX-7 for my first car? Yes to both. If you're asking FC versus FD, if you have less money, FC. If you have more money, FD. Because FD, not only do they cost more, but they also, the parts cost more. If you're trying to say cheap, you can get an FC NA real cheap. Ricky RX-8 asks, question, would you get a Mazda RX-8? If yes, why? If not, explain why. Question 2, I currently have an 05 RX-8 and I absolutely love it. What are your thoughts on putting a turbo on an RX-8? Would you recommend it? Question 3. Would you make any rotary car, FC, FD, or even RX-8 into an off-road build? I feel like the RX-8 could pull off the off-road look. For example, Jin Jim's Miata would be really interesting. Question 4. Will you ever come down to California to review my RX-8? Thank you. So, question 1. Would I ever get an RX-8? Yes, but it'd have to be real low miles. The Renesis engines in the RX-8s do not like getting beat on by people that don't know how to beat on them. So that's why they have a bad reputation. Also, Renesises are kind of more annoying to work on than other rotaries. But I would get one. I'd get one as a daily. Why not? Question 2, putting a turbo on it. I'd recommend it, but I'd also recommend doing an engine rebuild at the same time. Because if it's a high mileage Renesis and you slap a turbo onto it, you're gonna blow stuff up. I would make an FC into an off-road car. I've always wanted to do this ever since I really saw Jim's Miata and I drove it. I really want to do an off-road FC build, and will I ever come down to California? Yes. I went to 7 stock last year. I would love to go to 7 stock again. And of course, driving an RX-8 would be dope as well. Zan Carmen asks, what was your least favorite car to review, and what was your favorite car to review? Favorite car is really hard because I've driven a lot of cars, and the reviews kind of mean different things to me. So, like, I drove a BMW M550i a while back. That was, like, probably one of the best cars I drove because it was fast and very comfortable. But, like, the NSX and the Viper that I drove, that was, like, they weren't the best cars I've ever driven ever. But that was, like, just a monumental moment for me because, like, those were, like, childhood dream cars. Worst car, by far, was the Kia Rio. So this one comes from the Maverick, and this is our final question. Here's a question for you. A while back, I posted on my Garage Amino, Carter Does Everything, about hosting a nationwide car meet. Whether it's a road trip from state to state is debatable, but I'll get to that when it comes. I called it Garageathon just for namesake. What is your opinion about the idea? Do you think it's obtainable with support from YouTubers like yourself? I think it'd be hard to get a lot of people's schedules to line up, but I think this could be really interesting, and my idea for this would be you set up car meets around the country, right? You don't have to go to all of them, you don't have to road trip, and it's like, you know, a couple days set apart from each other. But you have like a sticker or like a trophy or like a stamped card, something at each spot. So if you do go to each car meet, you'll be rewarded, but if not, you still get to go to at least one car meet and have fun. That's my idea. If you're really interested in doing this idea and going forward with it, shoot me an email, pradlereviews@gmail.com. The email's at the beginning of all my car reviews. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I know it was kind of long, but thank you guys so much for your questions. Again, follow me on Instagram @shooting_cars for the latest updates. You can follow my Patreon to see videos early. I think that's it, guys. Thank you for the continued support. We did pass 15,000 subscribers. I know I didn't address it. I had plans on doing a celebration, but they kind of fell through, and it's the dead of winter, which sucks, and blah, blah, blah. So, but thank you guys so much for 15,000. We keep pushing forward. RX-7 stuff, RX-7 content is coming. I promise you guys. And I think that's it. I forgot my outro. Oh, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
Aside from my soul.